Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wisdom Wednesday. On Wisdom Wednesdays, I share tips on baking, and today we are going to cover the industrial production of artisan bread. Now, some of you may ask, well, industrial and artisan doesn't really go well together. You know, artisan is handcrafted, industrial is high output. Just give me a second to reduce my messages. Okay. So what does industrial artisan bread production mean? It means producing breads like this that has artisanal look to it. Okay. This is a bake and store program, and look at that feel of that bread. Okay. Nice year, right? Nice year, and great break and shred, great volume. Okay. So breads that look artisanal at a high output volume. Okay. My favorite bread locally is from Grand Central. I think that they have an excellent quality in terms of consistency. Every loaf of bread I buy from that store has the same taste to it. And because of that, I am very sold by their brand and their quality. Okay. So what is it about their bread? Let me cut it up. That makes it an amazing artisanal bread at the industrial scale. Okay. The output's a high. It's a high volume output bakery. Look at the crust and the crumb. Okay. Huge, right? So how do you get this kind of crumb structure at a high volume output? Okay, so that's what the class is going to address, issues like that. Okay, it's not easy because obviously if you look and taste bread like that, it has many hours of bulk fermentation. Okay, so what I'm going to do today, we are going to cover some quick tips on ingredients. On my Wisdom Wednesday next week, we are going to cover some tips on process. Okay, and then the week after that, just before the course, we're going to cover some tips on shelf life. Okay, so today's session is brought to you by Earx. Okay, and they have agreed to sponsor our class. They are the leaders in malts and sourdoughs. So please give them a shout out for making this class free for you. Okay, so let's carry on our tips. All right, top 5 ingredients. Flour, water, yeast or your leavening, strengtheners, and shelf life extenders. These are really important categories in terms of creating good artisan quality breads. Okay, very simple. Artisanal breads have very simple labels. And that is probably why you are going to sell more of this bread, because artisan bread means clean label. You know, if you put artisanal bread on your packaging, you know, you need to know that you're also selling the promise that, hey, people, my bread's really clean label, really simple ingredients. Okay. So let's talk about the flour. So the number 1 tip on flour is that you need to get good flour. Okay. So what do you need? You need something that has a higher absorption. You need something that actually has higher ash, because artisanal breads can handle higher ash because of the higher water absorption. Okay. I have seen artisanal bakers use winter wheat flour at 10% with 65% absorption. Yes, that is unusual. That is not what you get for pan breads, but it happens, and it happens because they have long bulk fermentation. Fermentation is the cure-all for protein problems. Okay, so let me share my tip with you on how to read the Farino graph. And this slide was obtained from a previous seminar. If you want to get in on the science behind artisan bread baking, please go to bakerpedia.com/academy to really learn more about the basics, because that's what you need to do. You need to learn the basics before you come to the next seminar. And this is a free download for you, okay, on that page. So you can see artisan bread flour has higher absorption, 65 versus 63. And what development time, because of that, is a little longer. Stability is also a little longer, and mixing tolerance is better. Okay, so everything you dream about a perfect flour is artisanal flour. I hope that helps with the first tip. Choice of flour is really, really important. Okay. Okay, let's go on next to our second tip, which is water. Water. It's so important because it's about 40 to 50% of your formulation. Okay, well, it really depends if it's a ciabatta. If it's a ciabatta formula, then it's a higher absorption, right? Because what I showed you just now was here. Let me show you again. This is a ciabatta. Okay, the reason why there's holes in here is because of the amount of water. And your dough should be able to hold that much water. Okay, so what about water, you ask? It's the second biggest ingredient in your formula, so it needs to be treated with care. Okay, and this is really important if you do multi-plant commercialization. Okay, so soft water, not so good. Hot water, much better. Okay, how do you test for that? So basically, if you click on this link on our water quality, and that's found on the download on bakerpedia.com/academy. Click on it. It will bring you to a page, a Bakerpedia page, that will explain to you what is in your water quality and where to get your municipality reports in the United States of America. Okay. And if you have problems commercializing between plants, water is the #1 culprit. There are water filtration and water softening systems out there that you can install to make sure that the water quality is consistent between plants. Okay? Remember, this issue is one of the reasons why you can't get consistency and why you can't seem to get a consistent quality between spring, fall, and winter into spring. Okay, this is the biggest issue. It's because of the elements in your water. All right, so what's next? Let's look at this. Okay, can you guess what's next? It's yeast, or your leavening agent. Okay, some of you use sourdough, some of you use yeast, some of you use a combination of both. Okay, there's no wrong or right. In my perception of things, it's what makes things consistent for you so you can run consistently in a pace that matters to your efficiencies. Okay, so for yeast, I advised every baker out there to consider cream yeast. Okay, I know a lot of you do start out with instant dry and compress, and then it gets you to a point where you can't handle that anymore. Okay, and then it gets to a point where it's too expensive. All right, then at that point, you need to look at fermentation systems that use cream yeast. Okay, again, all the stuff that's on this slide is on that particular download that I mentioned. And if you click onto those links, it's going to bring you back to Bakerpedia, and it's going to give you more information about what you need to understand about straight dough, sponge and dough, Polish, or bigger. Yes, they are all fermentation systems. They're similar, but they are different in terms of total solids. Okay. If you can't do sponge and dough, please, please, please consider brews. Okay. Brews are important in providing flavors. Brews are important in making sure that your fermentation system starts first, because I know a lot of you out there only have capacity for a 90-minute final proof. Okay, so it's not favorable to you in your process if you don't do a brew. Okay, you can also consider sourdough starters. Okay, Masa Madre Ferment, a product by Abel and Schaefer, will give you that head start and keep it consistent for you. Okay, so that is the only available sourdough starter that I have found that is really consistent in the market so far. Okay, so reach out to our sponsors at Abel and Schaefer for their Masa Madre Ferment. Okay. All right, so what's next? Let's talk about dough strengtheners, okay? Why do you need dough strengtheners? Why can't you just use a clean label? Well, my baker friends, this is why. Your process just doesn't allow for it, okay? You don't have space for a 14, 15-hour bulk ferment. You don't have a gentle process. You don't have a stress-free process. You don't have nice stress-free dough dividers, okay? And this is why a lot of you are going to figure out, oh no, I need a dough strengthener, improver / conditioner, okay? So there are so many providers out there for this particular ingredient. Also reach out to Urex, who is the sponsor of today's Wisdom Wednesday. They would have dough conditioning systems ready for you. Okay, good luck. You do need that. Don't forget. And if you are really targeting a clean label system, people like Urex would have clean label dough conditioners that focus on enzymes. Yes. You need enzymes that react like SSL and potassium bromate and ADA, and datum, because you just have a really, really stressful system. I know all of you bakers, industrial bakers out there, your systems aren't the best for artisanal doughs. Okay, so don't forget this particular artisan dough conditioner as you develop your artisan line. All right, let's go next into shelf life extenders. Okay, why is this important? It's important because if you are like these people, wait, let me get this back to my live stream. If you are like these people, okay, You want your bread on the shelf for more than one day. And artisanal products are notorious. Oh, I didn't send this live. Sorry. Okay, like these people. Can you see that now? Okay. Okay, so artisan bread are notorious for stealing fast. Fast. And the reason is because of the baking process. And we will cover that next week. Okay, and I did also cover this issue with the Scale Up documentary on how artisan bakers love to overbake their doughs, breads. And because of this, you need shelf life extenders. Okay, so let's talk about shelf life extenders. We need to figure out the clean stuff like oil and sugar. I know you're like, oh my God, sugar in artisan bread. You'll be amazed. Okay, this is my tip for you. Sugar does extend shelf life. It makes it softer. Okay, it's a humectant. Okay, but if you're like against sugar, which some of you will be, and I don't blame you, it's okay to not put sugar in, then you need to put enzymes. Okay, so amylases. So amylase is from sprouted barley. Okay, someone like Erex, who is a leader in sprouts and malts, would be able to provide a shelf life extender to you. Just reach out to them. And pretty much you want an amylase that helps you with shelf life for a week. All right. And if you're not getting there, then look at my Scale Up video, the documentary where we talk about cutting down the baking process so that enzymes can work better. Okay. All right. So that's all we have for today in terms of the tips, which are flour, water, yeast or leavener, dough conditioners, and shelf life extenders. Okay, so if you look at those 5 things in your formula and really optimize them, then you're good to go with industrial artisan bread baking. So I have mentioned previously that the artisanal bread process depends on 2 things. It's 50% process, 50% ingredients. Okay, you can't just focus on the ingredients, you have to focus on the process as well. So next week I will cover the process and I'll give you 5 tips to look at in terms of your process to help you improve your artisanal industrial bread product. Okay, thank you for joining me today on Wisdom Wednesday, and I will see you tomorrow again on Thought Leadership Thursday. Thank you. And thank you, Erex. If you have not signed up for their class, please sign up today.